My name is Maddy Ringo. I'm a folk singer. I write folk songs and I sing them. This is a song about running away into the woods, which I have yet to do, but long for.
Will I go up on the mountain? Will I go up on a hill? Have I still to pay my penance, or still not got my fill? When I go up on the mountain, will the spirits all be kind, or will they tell me slow, there's city girl, there's stars in both your eyes? I know that open road only feels good when you can't find your home. And I've got this crazy dream where I don't die alone. So maybe I'll go up that mountain. A singer, would you listen in to me? Would you pay your ticket cover? Would I play it all for free? And if I were a busker, were I begging to the crowd, would you pass me by with a nervous smile and your eyes cast on the ground? I know that open road only feels good when you can't find your home. And I've got this crazy dream where I don't die alone. So maybe I'll go up that mountain. I know that open road only feels good when you can't find your home. And I've got this crazy dream where I don't die alone. So maybe I'll go up that mountain.
That one is tentatively called Going Up That Mountain, but I think that sounds way too country, and new song name suggestions are very welcome. One of the things that we're kind of asked to do as songwriters is write love songs. It's a very, standard, it's part of the canon. And I'm pretty bad at doing that. I'm pretty bad at these days of writing, substantially happy music, and I'll write these songs and I'll bring them to my boyfriend and I'll say, I wrote you a song. It's like a gift, and then I'll play it and he'll say, well, that didn't make me feel very happy inside. And I'll say, well, you weren't listening hard enough. And he says, I think you should just write happier songs. This is not one of them, but this is a love song. This is called Cardinal.
Oh, look at me the way you did before I lost my patience. I don't know a lot, but I knew nothing then. And hold me like I'm your lover, leaving in the morning like I don't know you at all. when I would hide my love. But now you hold me up and look at me like we're still strangers lingering in your doorway, like you don't know if I'll come. And if I grow in a different way, like a cardinal flower in the heavy rain, will you walk like rambling vines and tangle me? Oh, who are you to look right through me? Don't you have some mercy? You don't cry too much. You're the lucky one. Oh, and who am I to stay right here when I know where I'm headed, like I don't know myself at all? And if I fall on the forest floor like a redwood tree that can't take no more, will your eyes like love in soil and lay with me?
I started playing this song at the end of all my sets because I was in Belfast last summer and I discovered that in Ireland and the UK they don't really use top sheets. Like when you're making a bed for a guest, it's like you have a duvet cover and a duvet, and that's like the thing that you wash every time you change the bedding. And so I was handed this duvet and the duvet cover in the hostel I was staying in, and they said, figure it out. And as an American, I was very confused and frustrated about this bed making task, and I was really struggling. Like I was, really going to war with this duvet cover, and I started singing this song to myself. And this is not a song that I wrote. This is a Gillian Welch cover. This may be one of my favorite folk songs ever, but it was really bolstering my spirit to propel me forward in this laborious task that I hated so much. And I thought, man, this is, a really good song to keep in your back pocket for when everything sucks, like when there's war happening seemingly everywhere in the world, and also when you're making your bed in Belfast, which are two things on the same plane of difficulty, obviously. This is called Hard Times.
There was a Cape Town man, he used to plow and sing. He loved that mule and the mule loved him. And when the day got long, like it does about now, I heard him singing to his muley cow, singing, come on, my sweet old girl, I'd bet the whole damn world we're gonna make it, yeah, to the end of the road, singing hard times ain't gonna rule my mind. Hard times ain't gonna rule my mind, Bessie. Hard times ain't gonna rule my mind no more. it's a mean old world, heavy in need. That big machine is just a picking up speed. And we were supping on tears, and we were supping on wine, but we all get to heaven in our own sweet time. So come on, all you Asheville boys, turn up the old-time noise and kick till the dust comes up through the cracks in the floor, singing hard times ain't gonna rule my mind. Hard times ain't gonna rule my mind. Sugar, hard times ain't gonna rule my mind no more. Now the Cape-Town man, he doesn't plow no more. I've seen him walking down to the superette store. I guess he lost that night, or he forgot that song. Woke up one morning and the mule was gone. So come on, all you ragtime kings, come on, all you ducks that sing, pick up your dusty old heart and give it a blow, singing hard times ain't gonna rule my mind. Hard times ain't gonna rule my mind, brother. Hard times ain't gonna rule my mind no more.
WDBM East Lansing, this is The Basement. We are here in the Beal Garden with Maddy Ringo from Ann Arbor. Not quite a basement, actually, but this is our first pre-recorded out-of-studio recording. I'm Cooper, and I'm here with my co-host Emma, and we will be talking to Maddy today about her songwriting.
Hello.
How's it going? How's your trip here?
My trip here was pretty good. Yeah. Michigan is beautiful.
Nice. I agree.
But the highway's not.
Right.
Yeah.
But the part of it that wasn't the highway was very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is such a good fall day, though.
It is. It's a really great fall day.
Like, it's cold, but it's not like...
It's not like,
it's not too
you know.
cold.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. About highways, you have a lot of songs about them.
I do have a lot of songs
Can you
about
talk
highways.
a little bit about how your songs are written on the road and
Yes.
as you travel?
Yeah. So I grew up in Toronto, but my mother is from Detroit, so all of my family is in Michigan. So we'd go back and forth a lot. So I got very, very used to the 401. And then I went to school in Michigan. I'm in Ann Arbor, and I drive home a lot. It's a 4.5, 5 hour drive, depending on how caffeinated you are. And I make that road trip too much, and it's really boring. It's like notoriously boring. It's like you cross the border and you are just on one highway until you get off at the exit that leads to my house.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one night in particular, it was Canadian Thanksgiving in my freshman year here. And it was the middle of the night, and I was driving home after class, and it was totally dark, and I wanted to get home to Toronto so bad, and I just wanted to speed. But I was such a little obedient Canadian, and I was like, no, you can't, because there are these signs on like the sides of the highways in Ontario that say like aircraft patrolled freeway, like you can't speed, we're watching you. And I was like, oh my God. And I was really paranoid the whole time. I was like, they're going to catch me. So I didn't speed, and I was going really slow, and there was literally no one on the road. Like, it was ridiculous that I was going so slow. But I got really, really bored of doing that. And I to keep myself awake, I wrote this song called Big Ol' City, which is the first track on the album that I put out a few months ago. And actually the first track is Preamble, which is me telling that story. But that was the beginning of it. And I kind of started getting into that habit of being on really long drives and having a lot of time to think, a lot more than I do in my day-to-day life. And it just kind of like, I think I'm very fascinated with geography. I'm a bit of a nerd with that. I love maps. I think maps are so cool. I literally will like sit for an hour and just like scour Apple Maps and just be like, what's the capital of Azerbaijan? Like, let me find out right now. And the same thing obviously applies to America. And I've done a lot of traveling, a lot of road tripping, a lot of living in my Subaru. And yeah, I've seen a lot of weird corners of the country, just via some really boring highways. And I've just, I have the time to just start thinking and put on a voice memo and just like talk to myself, and songs come out of it.
Nice.
So when you write those songs, is it usually like, do you come up with a melody in your head with like words, or is it more like a melodic?
These days it's a lot of melody first. Like, I'll have a little like like a little melody in my head that I'm like, oh, I need to use that at some point.
Yeah.
But then I'll get an idea or like a chorus or like one line, and then just kind of roll with it, and it just kind of, I don't know, just sort of happens.
Just build off of there.
Yeah, I just build off of that.
Yeah.
Basically.
Nice.
And you've said that highways are boring.
Yes.
But do you have a favorite, or is there a most interesting highway for you to drive on?
Yes. When I was driving through the Smoky Mountains, that was cool. When I went to the South, I was like, wow, the Midwest sucks. Like, oh my God. I didn't realize that you could have a highway drive be interesting, because there are mountains and, scenery, and it's not just flat and trucks and tall walls and
billboards.
And billboards. Oh, the billboards. That freaked me out about moving to America.
Right, because they're not in Canada.
No,
right?
no, we don't have billboards like that. Like, we have
There's-
billboards, but not billboards like that. You know what I mean?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the billboards that have like just the eyes on them?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what
Yeah.
they're from. I don't know what
No,
they're
I don't
for.
know. I
That's
don't know.
Big Brother, man.
It is. They're watching you. That's the man in the sky. That's the aircraft patrol.
Exactly.
I have an offhand question.
Mhm.
Have you ever played the Wordle, but like for the country?
No.
Worldle.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Wordle.
I need that.
You
Or
should.
global.
I
There's
really
two.
need
Yeah,
that.
too.
Yes. For our map nerds out there. So, for your musical background,
Yes.
you spoke a little bit about starting an opera
I did.
at a quite young age.
Yes.
Can you talk about how that influenced you, and how that influences your music now, and what started you on your musical journey?
Yeah, absolutely. It terrified me, and that's how it got me started. My mother put me in the Canadian Children's Opera Company when I was 6 years old, and it was a children's chorus that was sort of part of the Canadian Opera Company, but we would do our own children's opera productions, and then we'd be recruited to perform when the Canadian Opera needed kids. So that was, sorry, I'm like shivering. My teeth are starting to chatter. That was 12 years of my childhood. That was grade 1 through when I graduated high school. And it was kind of intense. It was really a lot. Just being sort of put into a professional setting when you're that young. And, my parents are not like hardcore conservatory classical people, but like basically it was that I was way too fidgety to be in a stand and sing choir. So they were like, do this so you can like run around and act and stuff. It was really cool. Like, it was super fun, but yeah, there were some tough moments, and being like 11 years old and just sort of thrown on stage in front of 5,000 people 3 times a week, singing in French and German. We did a Chinese commission that I had the lead in, and it was like Mandarin, and like it was a lot. And so that basically just sort of taught me about how to suck it up and get on stage anyway. That was kind of the big lesson. And I wasn't, I like, my musical roots are not classical. My musical roots are very folk. I learned like the Rise Up singing catalog when I was 7. But yeah, I was doing classical for my whole childhood, and it was traumatizing. One time somebody projectile vomited on me during a choir concert
Oh my God.
when I was 10. and we had to keep singing because.
Wow. Was it like a sing vomit or a combo of the
What's
two?
a sing vomit?
Wow, that's
Like singing and then like.
just
No,
at
it
the
was
same time.
the girl behind me like got down on her hands and knees and just started puking everywhere, including all over the back of my dress.
Oh.
But we just sort of kept
Shoot.
going, and nobody really noticed in the audience,
Well,
except
I
they
guess
smelled
that's
it.
good.
We were also recording a CD that night. That CD was never sold,
Oh man.
and it made other people in the audience throw up too. It made another girl on stage throw. It was
Oh my
awful. It was
gosh.
terrible. But we just had to keep going. They were like, we took a break. They cleaned it up, and then we went back on stage and sang another set.
Did they continue to sing? The person that threw up?
No. They went
Okay.
home.
Did you get a new
Thank
dress?
God. Sorry?
Did you get a new dress?
I did.
Or? Okay.
Yeah, I did. Or they cleaned it up, but then after that, I was like, I'm getting a new dress. Like, I'm not
Right.
doing another show in this thing.
In
Yeah.
the puke
Yeah,
dress.
it was terrible. So that was my musical upbringing. Was like I got to college and I was like, I'm gonna be a folk singer now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
That was the moment.
Yep. Yeah. That planted the seed, and I was just been growing ever since. Just like, I need to not have to, They make you study when I'm in this program currently, but when you're in a classical voice program, they make you do diction in all of the opera languages. So you have to take elementary German, French, and Italian, but also diction for German, French, and Italian, so that you can like pronounce every word exactly correctly, so that Mozart doesn't resurrect and slaughter you.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The second coming.
Yes.
So you said you started off in folk too,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Do you have any like childhood like folk albums that like really stuck with you?
Yeah, totally. Raffi.
I
Did
love
you guys?
Raffi.
Do you guys have Raffi?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love that man. No, but also my mom really likes James Taylor. Joan Baez was a big one.
Mhm.
I had, now I'm blanking on all of it. Like the Arlo Guthrie, the Woody Guthrie. Yeah, totally all those oldies. Like, I mean, my mom is a child of the 60s, so it was very much all of that like Midwest folk circuit, the
Mhm.
Woodstock
Nice.
stuff. And
Yes.
yeah.
Did Raffi do Banana Phone? Do you know that little ditty?
I vaguely
you
remember
know.
something
Banana
about a
phone.
banana, but my memories from being 2 are not very coherent, so I can't recall specific lyrics.
That's acceptable, I guess.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask a little bit about being raised in Canada and
Totally.
seeing America from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Because you write about kind of like an overhead view of how America is functioning, and having that put into song is very impactful. So your perspective is unique on that, and I wanted to kind of pick your brain about
Totally. I grew up with a lot of talk about America. I mean, my mother had left America, and not because she was angry with it. She was very actually wanted to go home, but it was like there was a lot of talk about the border and about about stories of migration and moving. Like I think that was kind of a theme throughout my childhood. Just my mom talking about her ancestors and all of their migrations and their stories, and so it was always like a thing that we talked a lot about. My mom's youth and being involved in counterculture and being involved. Like she grew up during the Vietnam War, and so her childhood was spent like in church basements, like with the communists who were organizing to end the war, and like that was her whole life. And then moving to Canada, and like she kind of then had that outside perspective on like seeing her family still in the States, and being really emotional about a lot of what was going on. So I always had that sort of insider-outsider perspective, because obviously like I spent a lot of time in Michigan, and sort of felt like American. We were very close with my mom's family. We still, are very close with my mom's family. So yeah, it was long-winded way to get into. Now I live here now, and it is interesting because I feel like I'm not as integrated from a young age into like the everyday like political affect that I think really permeates a lot of conversation and just like everything here. And that really struck me when I first moved to the US, because it's not like that in Canada. Like our politics don't have such like emotional implications for everyone. So people aren't on guard about it. People aren't like profiling each other all the time. It's
Right.
like it's a lot more moderate. so moving to America was just interesting because I felt like I was kind of seeing it like I can't remember the words you used, but like
from a different perspective.
Yeah, like
from
that sort of top-down perspective on how America is functioning. Like that's exactly how I sort of felt because I could totally feel those institutions that I'd always thought of as like that's the institution of America, and like I would see evidence of it. Like I was in I went to a baby shower in Grosse Pointe, and have you ever crossed that street between Detroit and Grosse Pointe where there's literally like the remnants of a wall that they built between Grosse Pointe and Detroit to like keep Detroit out of Grosse Pointe?
No.
It's like the most
I've
famous example of like American segregation via suburbia. And like it's so an indicator of like white flight and how that changed Detroit. And I was like, oh, this is America. Like this is what they were talking about. Like this, you know, idyllic suburbia with like the lawn care services like cruising down the street and like these big houses and everything. And then like you there's literally a wall, and you go to the other side of the street, and it's like, and it's Detroit, and it's just like I was like, whoa, like I didn't think this was actually. I'd never thought that I would actually like see it, you know?
Yeah.
And so seeing those institutions, I could just kind of like, I had that outsider perspective of like just sort of seeing it objectively and being like, that's how this country functions, you know?
And I feel like you portray it really well in your music too. Like, I forget what song it was from, but you were talking about like the backyards and the lawns and like.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and like, I see that everywhere now, and like, I came from a very small town, and so like my view on everything was very small, and I didn't really get to like know that perspective, but like I study environmental stuff now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's everywhere.
I know it is. It's everywhere, and when you
everything.
start to kind of look around for it, it is just everywhere. Like that.
Yeah.
That social infrastructure is like so just all over the place.
Yeah, it's very prolific. So that is a huge theme, and you have more themes. You talked about how it's very hard to write a love song that's not like devastating sometimes, and songs about death and about change. So
you're making me sound miserable.
No, it's maybe it's just a folk singer thing. I don't know.
It is. Yes, it is.
I wanted to ask how essential folk music is to pushing conversations about stuff like this, and how tied together these two things are.
I think it's cool because I wouldn't say it's, you know, the only kind of way that we can get into talking about culture musically. Like there are so many ways, even things that aren't lyrical, like ways that we can explore culture and like open up conversations about that. But I think folk music is cool because it's inherently conversational. And the point of the format, and this is why I kind of have some qualms with things that are labeled as folk these days, because I think the point of folk is supposed to be like a conversationality more than, you know, people will kind of use it as like a sonic descriptor for something that's kind of like gentle and acoustic. But I think that folk music in its spirit is like an exchange, you know, and it's about the show, and it's about like, especially about the live show, you know, and about the interaction, and about, you know, being able to hear the audience like respond and heckle and laugh and, you know, whatever, and participate. Like it's about the participation and the sort of like the exchange of ideas that are, it's like kind of sometimes easier to write a song about something for me than to like actually just try to write it out or speak it out. You know, I think something can be conveyed when you have like an intellectual idea or like a political idea meets the affect of music. Like you can communicate something that is stronger than either of those elements on their own.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask about the folk community.
Yes.
And how I feel like, and I might just be seeing this from like an outsider's perspective, like folk music has always been a thing.
Yeah.
And like, no matter if people are listening or not, like there's folk everywhere. But I feel like I've seen recently like an upcoming of like more people doing folk because of like the state of the world. And I feel like it can be not like prolific in the way of like people getting their messages out that they like feel like that they're angry with the state of the world, I guess. And I feel like I'm seeing that a lot more. But like what does it feel like to be already in the community?
Man, how do I answer that question? Like specifically in Michigan, or like just generally like in folk music?
Just generally.
Yeah. It's a good community of people. Like I think it's a community of people who are really in music because they really care about something, which is cool. You know, it's a lot. It feels a lot nicer for me and like safer to be in a community of musicians who really are there because they want to like say something, you know. And it is interesting, like the folk revival. I think that there is this yearning for, you know, kind of, I mean, there is always kind of like a nostalgia for like the pre-technological society. Like it kind of goes in, and it sometimes I'm like, I hope that doesn't also bring us like contribute to anti-intellectual. I really hope that doesn't like kind of feed into the anti-intellectualism that we're kind of seeing resurging, and like the kind of like I hope that we carry this forward in the right direction. I think because there is, you know, obviously like countries making a comeback and like a lot of, but that's also kind of coming with like some interesting resurfacing of some political ideas that we thought we buried like 100 years ago. So it's interesting. I'll just say like it's interesting to be in folk music right now because the politics of it are so unavoidable. And I don't want to live and work in an echo chamber. You know, I don't want to just be with like other lefty songwriters who are like writing lefty songs and like just kind of, you know, stroking each other's lefty egos and such, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's a continuously unfolding conversation. I think just being in those spaces.
Yeah. How does being a songwriter influence how you see the world, either for better or for worse, or for both?
It means I have to pay a lot of attention to things because I want to be well informed. Like I don't want to just write songs about things that I don't really understand. You know, I don't want to just be like, I'm gonna write a song about the man and then like say a bunch of stuff that's not actually true about the man. Like I want to be accurate, I think, and I want to be accurate in the way that I portray this country. And I also don't just write about America. I write about a lot of other things. Right now I write a lot about America. But I think it makes you see the world. I mean, just like being any kind of artist, like you see a lot of just patterns of people and sort of in these like abstract senses, or like, I don't know. I think I read too much into things sometimes. I like kind of can't help but not do that. It's like you're always kind of trying to make sense of the world and then be able to like process it through music.
Yes.
Which can be frustrating as much as it is like nice to, you know, it's like a gift to be able to do that. But it's also kind of like sometimes I'd like to just, you know, that's why I write the songs about disappearing into the woods, because I'm like, I just like to not, you know.
If you could flip the switch.
Yeah.
To not have to pay attention to.
Yeah, but I'd never do that. Like, I'd never do that, because I'm so, like, my heart is so in just, like, really being a citizen of the world, you know, and, like, very much participating in everything there is to participate in terms of just, like, knowing people and knowing places.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of citizen of the world.
Yeah.
You have an album.
I do have an album.
About people of the earth and sea, right? Can you talk a little bit about what that album explains and kind of the themes of that? 'Cause that's your most recent, right?
It is my most recent thing. Yeah, People of the Earth and Sea really is a amalgamation of like a lot of things that I've been chewing on for the last 4 years. It's a lot of like, it's sort of a thesis on my experience moving to the States and just like kind of coming of age in this way that it, like, there's just so much acceleration in our like exposure to information and our ability to move around, and like just I don't want to write folk music that is stuck in like, you know, the 1950s, 60s. Like I grew up in a huge city. Like my commute to high school was 22 subway stops. And like I want that to kind of always come through in the music, like kind of have that like acknowledge the ecology of modern life, you know, and the way that we kind of separate ourselves from nature as being like, oh, nature's like the green stuff over there, and like the built environment is like not an environment. It's just, like we don't think of ourselves as part of this ecology of, like the wind in the subway is like, that's like my morning breeze. I'm like, I spent an hour on transit, underground on transit every morning.
Right.
Like I couldn't not sort of observe how we interact with that, the way that we interact with any like growing living thing. So I think that's broadly and maybe not super succinctly what that album was about, just, trying to integrate those ideas of what we think of and maybe like romanticize as like as natural, and then what we really are confronted with in our everyday, socially and physically, in the way that our planet has just kind of really, like, I think acceleration is kind of like a key word.
Yeah, for sure.
And your dad is here rocking the People of the Earth and Sea camo hat.
He is.
So
yes, that's
where
the merch.
can our listeners find that?
At my shows. I don't have an online anything for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the CDs and the hats and the stickers, that's all. You got to show up. That's the deal.
You got to show up. All of you.
All you.
Yeah.
I might be purchasing a hat at some point.
They're super cool.
Right.
I could rock
got
a
them in
camo
the car.
hat.
There you go.
What would you say your favorite thing is about music in general? That's a really broad question. But
As a performer or as a participant in general?
Participant in general.
I like to dance. I love to dance.
I was just saying this. We need to bring back dancing.
I know. Oh my gosh, that's the thing that I really am
People don't like
confused
it
about.
anymore.
When I got to college, I was like, why is no one dancing?
Yeah.
Like I don't really go out ever because, you'll be in like a frat with like a 200 sweaty people, and they're all just kind of standing there like,
Yeah.
like they're
flick.
like the frat, like the frat flick, and
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, this is fire. I'm like, okay, then move your body.
Yeah.
And there's no, people don't put on music that I can dance to, and I'm like, give me 3 feet of space and let me shake it a little bit. And that's something that I feel like people don't expect about me, but I'm like, no, like I don't want you to put on like Pete Seeger at this function. Like, let me, express myself.
So what do you wish the dance music consisted of more often? What would you want to dance to?
Well, when I have control of the aux, I think my music taste, I've been told, is kind of really, I think in my soul I'm a Gen X or like a millennial or something like, it's bad. Like, it's really, I need to get up to date. But like my mom always like grew up in Detroit in the 60s. So there's a lot of like Luther Vandross, like that old, not that I would, put that on in the function if I wanted to shake it, but like that kind of old school Motown stuff and like early 2000s, like, I don't know, those playlists that my dance teacher would put on in like hip hop class when I was 5, or like,
yes.
like, I don't know, that stuff. Rihanna.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I really like that.
More Rihanna. We need more Rihanna.
We need more Rihanna.
Yeah, we do.
We really do.
That's like one thing that I feel like I've noticed, like when I go out and I like, want to dance, it's never music that I want to listen to.
No, it's not.
But
And
then
it's the
again,
same
like
stuff.
if
I
I
know.
was on aux, like I don't think anyone else would be dancing, but I would.
No, exactly. And that's the thing, is I will be the only one in the room dancing. My mom and I consistently are the only ones at the wedding who
Oh my
like
gosh, yeah.
really like. There was one wedding we went to last summer, and it was very, the dance floor was not popping, and there was a lot of Taylor Swift happening. And then at one point I was standing there, and that song Low, the Flo Rida song.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the intro for that song came on, and that was like my jam when I was 8, which was weird. Like, I knew all of the words like to the entire thing, and I heard the first like 2 seconds of it, and I was like, where is my mother? And I was like screaming, and then she came over and we absolutely busted it down, and everybody kind of just stared, and we were like, you know what?
Like they're having fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you listen to, I guess I should rephrase this.
Yeah.
When you listen to music outside of playing music and being an artist, is it usually folk or is it something else?
These days it's a lot of folk. It's a lot of folk and bluegrass, some country stuff. I used to listen to a lot of Midwest emo.
That's
like
awesome.
when I was in high school, I was really heavy into the Midwest emo. Like it was actually embarrassing looking at my old playlist.
It's okay. We all go through it.
I had a phase.
Okay.
I had a phase where I was really into oh my God, who does harness your hopes on just one person?
Oh, Pavement.
Pavement. I was really into Pavement for a minute.
Nice.
That was funny. But yeah, these days it's a lot of like Jason Isbell and like Tyler Childers and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I like his music.
Yeah, me too.
Who are some of your favorite songwriters and like lyricists that you can point to as major influences for you?
Joni Mitchell is a big one. Suzanne Vega was just an inspiration, like kind of made me want to start writing songs. This is like my least favorite question because I always just kind of blank on it. Just kind of like it's just kind of a collection of all of it. Like besides Joni Mitchell, I think she's the only songwriter that I've really like extensively gone into the catalog and been like, I know all of this. Like I can recite it to you. But yeah, she's definitely a big one. Damien Rice. Really like Damien Rice.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm also wondering, where do you see these songs taking you in the future? Because you've talked a lot about traveling.
Yes.
Do you want to stay in this country or be in Canada or be all over the place?
That really is a question that's up in the air and changing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When I graduate in May, I'm planning on kind of doing what I do in the summers, which is pack up my car and just start driving and find gigs as an excuse to go, many states away from where I live. And I just kind of want to take it around, try to expand my audience outside of the Midwest region. And I'm going to sell some tea. I'm into the herbalism stuff.
Nice.
Just pack up the car with some little tinctures and some little balms and things, and just go to the festivals where hippies are, and convince them to, buy a ginger tea and also a CD and see where that takes me. I'm thinking about going to LA. I have family there. I know some people who are working in like agencies and stuff. So
that sounds fun.
Cool.
Some of my friends who are all just like kind of working in the industry and see what happens. But I don't know. I'm not married to anything. I'm kind of just going to get in the Subaru and see where it takes me.
What kind of Subaru do you drive?
It's a Subaru Forester.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Classic
so do you like
hippie
fold
car?
down the back seats?
I do. I love my setup in there. I have a gel mattress topper, or like just like a foam one, and I roll it up and it does all the blankets and pillows, and then I'll just like put my suitcases and stuff in the front seat and then just put the back seat down and roll out the bed and crack the windows, and it's like, oh, it's so comfortable. It's except when it's raining, then it's not comfortable because I open the sunroof, so that I don't suffocate. But it's a nice little camping.
That sounds so fun.
Glamping experience.
So what's the farthest you've traveled for music?
For a gig? Oh gosh, Scotland.
Whoa.
I want to know the steps that led you to Scotland.
So this guy that I know in Toronto who does the booking for this venue that I've played a lot, he told me that his cousin is a Scottish folk singer, and she's a pretty big name in Scottish like trad folk stuff, and he was like yeah, I'll totally set you up. And so my parents wanted to go to Wimbledon. So we went to Wimbledon, and then we were like, yeah, we'll go. Like she booked us, this folk singer, Iona Fife, like booked us a gig, and we went to Glasgow, and I played the show, and I find out they're not actually cousins. He just says that to everybody to see if they'll believe it and see how long it takes for them to discover that they're not actually cousins. They just have the same Scottish last name.
That's awesome.
Nice. But yeah, that was cool. That was pretty cool. So I didn't go to Scotland expressly for the purpose of the gig, but I sort of did. And I did play in Glasgow, and it was very cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Is there a dream location that you'd like to play that you haven't got to yet?
I don't know. I don't really. People are like, what's your dream venue? I'm like, anywhere with a stage. I don't know.
Some basement somewhere.
It would be cool to play Red Rocks. That would be awesome. Yeah, it's more about the audience, I think, than the place itself. Yeah. Because I've played some good venues with really a dead crowd.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like, I know we were just talking about this before, but I'm like pretty sure I saw you at Howland for Folk
At where?
Fest.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how I ended up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how Cooper.
That was like a listening room type thing.
Yes.
Right?
That was a bizarre experience.
Yeah. Quite strange.
No, because I was right beneath like a very loud rock band.
Yes.
And you could completely hear it. Like there was tons of bleed. It was
Mhm.
so it was very audible. But everybody was just like listening, and I was like, wow, that like you're committed to hearing me, which was impressive.
It was that was such a
I
cool
was very
experience.
flattered by everybody's just like, really trying to hear it.
Yeah. So
That's
how
really
is the receptiveness across crowds? Like, is
Mhm.
there?
Oh.
Does that happen with, like, different geographical areas? Are there places where people don't really want to hear the music or are more in tune to that?
Yeah. I started doing this because I was busking in Toronto, and I would go down to the big farmers market and I would play, and it was really just, it was old white people who would recognize the songs and be like, oh my God, I listened to that in my day. But it wasn't, obviously it's like, it's a huge city. Like folk music is not the current, it wasn't like, there isn't really a scene for it. So when I moved to Michigan, that's when people really started to tune in. I think that there's something about, like, I mean, Ann Arbor is obviously a much smaller city, but it's very close to like farm country, and it's
Mm-hmm.
people have more of like an integration of like rural and urban, and so those kinds of audiences are definitely like they'll be a lot more actively engaged because like it really is kind of part of the the culture of Michigan, especially. Like I think the Midwest is really big on folk music for that reason, because there truly is such an organic audience that loves to consume it, and there are so
Mhm.
many good, like there are so many amateurs in Michigan that could be professional musicians, but they just aren't. They just do it on the weekends with their friends, and it's incredible.
Mhm.
And like those communities, I think, are really special. And when I've gone outside of the Midwest, that's not the way it works. Like the big music cities like Nashville is
Mhm.
not like that at all. It's like, yeah, it's definitely not the Midwest. And I've also talked to other people who have come from like the East Coast and been like, everybody in the Midwest just loves folk music, which is cool. So I've definitely played to some crowds, and especially when I was busking in I was in the South, and people do not tip buskers once you get south of like Washington D.C. People just don't. They'll kind of stand there and watch, and then they'll just kind of like walk away. Like they'll watch for like an hour. Like they'll sit there and like bring their kids, and then they'll be like, cool, okay, bye.
See ya.
Yeah.
But it's not the way the Midwest works at all. Like, people are really, really engaged with it.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in a beach town all summer,
Mhm.
and there was probably like 4 or 5 buskers like all down the street, and like that's like one of the favorite one of my favorite parts of like working downtown was like
Yeah.
just getting to hear everyone that comes by, because like
I know.
they're all super talented people, and they just do it because they love it, and it's not
Mhm.
like, I mean, yeah, they do get paid a lot, but like they do it more because it's just like fun.
Yeah.
And
totally.
it's so like
it's for the
fun to
love of the
listen to
sport.
them.
Like
Yeah.
you gotta love it to be gritting it out as a
Yeah.
small musician. Like it really
Yeah.
it takes a lot of grit.
Mm-hmm. So other than your tinctures and teas,
Yes.
do you have hobbies on the side of music that you want to continue to do kind of in tandem or at the same time?
I do. I like to write. I generally am a writer. I actually I went to an arts high school, and I majored in film, and I did that. So that's kind of always been in the periphery. I'm working for the Department of Asian Studies at U of M, doing like podcast production work for this like publication called Sick Philosophies, and also Geophilosophies. So I also have like that academic kind of interest, and I don't think I'm going to go to grad school, but I might down the road, just so that I can like read books,
Mm-hmm. Just for fun.
Yeah.
For sure.
Nice. Do you have anything further?
I had an idea, and then
think.
That's okay. Maddy, do you have any closing thoughts for our audience? Do you have any shows you'd like to plug?
I do have lots of shows coming up. November 1st, I'm in Ypsilanti. Let's see if I can pull up the calendar in my brain. November 11th is Veterans Day. That's the Veterans for Peace show at the Arc in Ann Arbor. I'm playing a set there. The next night at North Star Lounge in Ann Arbor, there's a songwriter circle. That's November 12th. November 14th is a house show in Kalamazoo. There it is. That's Kazoo, November 14th. November 22nd, back in Ypsilanti. December 1st, there's something that I can't remember. And December 6th is in Ypsilanti again. So many such events. And they're all on the website, which is maddyringo.com. And the Instagram, which is Maddy_Ringo. And I'm also on every other corner of the internet.
Okay, I think I have one now.
Okay.
I want to know if you've ever played at like a folk-centered festival.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Those are awesome.
I've heard that they're good.
I love folk festivals so much. The Nor'easter Fest was this past summer, and that was awesome. Everybody was camping in their cars, and the vibes there are incredible. Everybody's really, I mean, it's just like a giant summer camp for adults who just love guitars.
Yeah.
Which is sick. So, yeah, I definitely have played a couple of those, and that's the plan that's the plan for the foreseeable future, is find as many folk festivals as I can and sneak my way into their stages.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yes.
Cool. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
It was awesome to hear your songs and to pick your brain about various parts of the world. Make sure you check out her things on social media. You can find Maddy at maddyringo.com.
Yes.
And everywhere else.
All the places. Except maybe, that's slander. Never mind, I can't say that.
No slander.
FCC. I was going to say don't stream it on Spotify because Spotify gives a lot of money to military AI, which is
real.
Not fun.
Well, you can find Maddy Ringo anywhere that you look.
In every single corner of the
all
universe.
Of them.
Yes. And tune into The Basement every Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m.
We'll see you next week.
Peace.